beautiful thing right now.
Rise and shine, it's a beautiful day. I'm alright.
About a third of the building has been blown away.
This is the bridge to white light.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
And at that point, we were taken for another round of questioning, this time related to our allegedly being members of Mossad.
Crazy evil.
Good morning. Welcome to the No Way Jose podcast. This is the Morning Dump. I am your host, Jose Galison. What is it, Thursday, September 18th? I've already got a workout in today. Went for a run last night. Probably get one later. Hope you guys have had a productive morning. I got a little breakfast and I actually burnt my sausage this morning. I was zoned out, throwing together prep and stuff because I usually just kind of put some sausage on the sometimes for breakfast on the stove. Just kind of cook it low and slow, and then I'll go and like prep my stuff, and then I just zoned out and totally freaking forgot about it. It burnt, so I got some burnt sausage that I had for breakfast. But I'm here with you guys, so I mean whatever. That's nothing to complain about. Had a good morning otherwise. Fun time. Ran a couple little errands real quick this morning, so also that's why I'm running a little bit late. But I was able to get it all into a productive morning, and I'm glad to be with you guys. We had plenty to go through today. Kimmel got canned. He got kicked off of the late night show. We'll cover some of the details of that. Today's going to be really, I'll be straight up with you, it's kind of like a big old movie day. I'm going to be making fun of a lot today of Kash Patel. I mean, we got lots of great reels from him in Congress. It's not going well for him. And then also we obviously got some more Kirk stuff that's rolling in, so we'll cover some of that. I do want to warn you guys, there's a good chance I might not be here tomorrow. It's up in the air. Monday's definitely not happening, so just before you guys wait around or whatever, if any of you guys do. But yeah, I won't be here. Well, I may or may not be here tomorrow. It's kind of up in the air. I'm taking my youngest for her birthday. I'm going to get her did. So I'm going to get my haircut, or her haircut. I might get mine too. So I know a lot of you guys in the audience complain, I need a haircut. But it's not the haircut you think. For those who are like, oh, Jose is going to have like a nice, respectable Aryan haircut like he used to. No. What I'm talking about, my shit's all fucked up. It's all weird in the back. I need to get it cut because when I had it like short before, I had the like Aryan whatever weird. So it's all different lengths when it grew back out. So now it just looks, like, especially the back. You guys don't see it from the front, but it looks weird in the back. Especially then when I quit. When around the time I quit smoking about a year ago too, I was like really started not even meaning to, like had like a tick where I'd pull my hair. I just didn't even notice because I was just like highly stressed. It's actually funny. I was just thinking about that, and I was like thinking about the reasons why I needed to get my haircut, get shaped up. And I was like, oh yeah. And I just realized it's been almost a year since I quit smoking. So I thought that was cool. It'll be on the 22nd. But yeah, I won't be here Monday. I am picking up a shift. Friday's up in the air. I got to figure out how the timing on that works. So just warning you. No Hablo's saying get a mullet. I know. I'm going to let you guys know. I'm going full long now. The plan is if you guys I'm going like fucking shoulder length. I'm not kidding. I'm growing it out. But I also got to need to shape it up as it comes because it's all weird and wonky. So. But we have plenty to go through today. I should probably stop rambling, maybe we'll start some of the videos, the introductory videos that we normally do. We have, I think these are both a little bit more on the serious side. Actually, no, one's funny. One's more on the serious side. I had to cut it short yesterday, and I had a little bit of a Tucker sort of segment / coverage, or at least kind of watch one of his clips. And we had to breeze over that because I had to leave early. So then I made literally the thumbnail of the day Tucker, so that it made no fucking sense. You're like, why is your thumbnail Tucker? So ham-fistedly now, I'm retconning why Tucker was the thumbnail for yesterday by showing you the video at the jump. So we'll start off with the Tucker one, and then I have a one that'll make you giggle after this. But this is Tucker kind of telling his thoughts and kind of not his thoughts on what he supposedly was told by Charlie and of his opinions of Netanyahu.
He did not like Bibi Netanyahu, and he said that to me many times, and he said it to people around him many times. He felt that Bibi Netanyahu was a very destructive force. He was appalled by what was happening in Gaza. He was, above all, resentful that he believed Netanyahu was using the United States to prosecute his wars for the benefit of his country, and that it was shameful and embarrassing and bad for the United States, and he resented it. Didn't hate Netanyahu. He wasn't out there with a placard saying that, but he certainly expressed that to me and a lot of other people. And there's no question that Bibi's defenders on the internet will call me a liar or a kook, but that's a fact. And enough text messages exist that I think it can probably be verified in pretty short order. Not that it needs to be, because that is true. Shortly after that speech, there was a very intense attack on Charlie, and to some extent on me, not that I really noticed. But on him, I have no donors. He had $100 million worth of donors. And so, because he was involved in a different project from just yapping on the internet, which is what I do for a living, he was dependent to a great extent on his donors, of course. It's a nonprofit. And they went after him and tormented him. Not all, of course, many were supportive, but the ones who were offended by my speech, and there was a small, very intense group who were, tormented Charlie Kirk until the day he died.
All right, so there's Tucker. That's kind of with the, I guess, the multiple gray zone articles that have come out kind of characterizing the Israeli folks around the time of Kirk's death and kind of the situation he was dealing with, and especially where they're all now have kind of turned, and especially a lot of them kind of, oh, how great he is and blah blah blah. So we were going to cover that a little bit yesterday, but it's kind of, I don't know, it's a little bit old news now because it's from yesterday. We have plenty more to go through, but I did feel like that was a meaningful thing. If you are paying attention to the narrative that's forming around the Kirk stuff, I think who's saying what, and especially since they're all like big ish influencers, and I've told you I struggle to whether I trust these people or not. I mean, I will, as I've admitted multiple times, if they're lying to me, the Candaces, the Tuckers, they're doing a fairly good job. I do just try to keep myself honest though, and be like, well, don't forget his dad he did run the Voice of America, which was the global mouthpiece for the CIA. So like, I don't know, and he was in Venezuela as a kid, and like, there's just all sorts of things. There's like, but I don't know. People have changes of hearts, and so like my take, if I had to guess, with like those types, is like I kind of do lean towards that they actually might just be genuinely good people that maybe have a little bit of glowiness in their past, particularly Tucker, maybe less so. I mean, less so Candace, more so Tucker. And they probably have, to some degree or another, maybe engaged with glowy actors for some reasons or another. Probably thinking they were doing positive things. And maybe now they think differently. And they'll probably never, ever admit those things before because of the nature of such things. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying, trust me, I'm the first person to be like white hats. I still think people should be aware. And like to some extent, it's almost like you can never really fully trust someone that has this sort of, I guess, pedigree or something. I don't know, not fully. But then again, you never really should trust anyone fully. But yeah, I think it's worthwhile keeping track of what he said. But more on the funny side. Here is, and this is kind of thematic, or is very much ties into our theme for today, which is making fun of Kash Patel. Here is this absolute queen. Who is this? The Resonance, whoever you are, at partisan_12. And she says, analyst, geopolitics, history, breaking news, independent. Well, this absolute queen, look what she did. She's the greatest.
Kash Patel, the American people want to know, how does it feel to be a cuck for Israel? Answer the question.
We're seeing and hearing what the FBI is doing on a daily basis.
You're claiming to serve the American people. You're serving Israel. Does it feel to be Israel's bitch? You don't care about kids getting raped. The American people want to know.
He's a patriot.
Patriot?
He's a patriot.
Rape kids? Is patriotism to
Thank
you?
you for your service, sir.
Kids?
You're an idiot.
I'm an idiot? Really?
Yes, you are.
I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Kash Patel.
I like the old guy there at the end, though. I didn't say anything. Like, I don't know what his deal is, but it's almost like, oh yeah, these guys are fucked up. I know that's a fun one. That's a fun one. All right, let's roll through. Let's say our good mornings. Let's see who all is in with us today. I saw a bunch of y'all in here early. So hey, maybe it's because I started late. Good morning, Tilla Spook. Good morning. Good morning. She's saying good morning to you, Negroes and Glowies. Good morning, Tom33. Good morning, Bobo. Prepping the QR. Yeah, prepping the QR code and getting it ready. Good morning, Hero Vids or Gyro Vids. I don't know. I never know. Good morning, Bobo. Good morning, Mario McFly. It wasn't actually technically either. It was like a long smoked sausage that I cut up into pieces and then I cooked up just to kind of like make it crispy on the edges. I mean, you can just eat the smoked sausage as is, but it was one of those big links, like not like a little itty bitty links, one of those guys. But I usually throw some links on there is what I do. Good morning. Hey, say what now? Good morning. Bobo's changing his oil. Get on that shit, dude. Good morning, No Hablo. Good morning, Nevsky. Chorizo, because he's Hispanican. Chorizo is pretty yummy. I do like chorizo. I'm not going to lie. Good morning, Rootless Redneck. He says, looks like the global war of terror is back on, and we are taking back Bagram. I don't remember anything about that. Maybe something will jog my memory here a bit. Good morning, Knife 70 Plus. Says good morning to the 9 Kimmel watchers who weren't paid to do it. Yeah, right. Good morning, Mari McFly. Actually, I think it's right. Good morning. Good morning, Real John Doe. Good morning, Chekoho. No Hobble is telling me to get a mullet. No, I'm not doing a mullet. My wife wouldn't let me. I actually think a mullet would be actually pretty fucking sick. There's no way my wife would let me have a mullet. Yeah. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, Eddie Grimm. Good morning, Good morning, Chuck Bam. Every day, breaking news: mothership UFO over Chicago. All right. What do we see? What else we got in here? Who else? Good morning, Queen Calnance. Good morning, King David. Good morning. Robin says my fiance has a mullet. He asked me if I mind. I told him at least no other woman would try to hit on him. Hey, I think they're fucking sick. I don't know what you're talking, but it's like it is seem like every woman does. Like that's gross. Like, but. And every other dude, anytime I see him, I'm like, that dude's fucking awesome. I don't know. It's just I guess that's the difference between men and women. I don't know. Yeah. What else? Who else we got in here? Good morning, Eris Legacy. Good morning, Comment Mama. Good to see you here. Good morning, everybody. I think that's it. I think I'm caught up. I'm sure more of you guys will join us here shortly. All right, guys, we got a sad foreign policy stuff to go through today. So I don't know if you want to. If I know Bobo, now's the time to, I know whatever you gotta go under the car and you don't really listen to what I have to say because it's sad. Now's the time. So we're getting into some stuff. 102 more Palestinians dead past 24 hours. So I think we're up to like almost, we're like around 450ish. 432 is the full number of starvation deaths. So we're at like almost 1,000 people who have just fucking starved to death. So yeah. Yeah, wild stuff. I guess on Wednesday they also cut off phone and internet services, so we're kind of in the dark on a lot of this stuff. So it's literally somehow getting worse. And I mean, there's already been a strike that killed 13 people that were fleeing. So, because I mean, the story here is always, we told them to evacuate, we dropped leaflets, we did this, we did that, and then you're like, okay, but what happened? All right, so what are their options? And you're like, well, leave. And you're like, leave to where? And then once you see the options of like what they think are the options, like, okay, well then it almost every single fucking time ends up being stories of people being killed along these routes, whatever supposed routes they like say, oh, go flee to the south, and then people get bombed in the south. Oh, flee to over here, flee to this refugee camp, that gets bombed. Flee to that refugee camp, it gets bombed. So, I mean, at certain points, like it's Charlie Brown with a football, and we've done this a million times, and. Like, come on. People aren't this stupid. They're just fucking killing them. That's what's going on here. And then even to add to the disgustingness of it, they're kind of debating the land stuff. I guess, I think the crux of this story, I was reading about it earlier, is essentially that now, I guess, because, the deal was, this Gaza waterfront property, we're going to watch it or some shit. I forget the specifics. Essentially, it was supposed to be we're going to be custodians of it, and then we're going to rebuild it or whatever. Well, now, essentially, Israel's talking about dividing it, and the reasoning being is kind of like, well, we, did the demolition. It's like, what a dark way to look at it. Like, well, we did all the hard work for you. We did all the murder and destruction, so, shouldn't we get a cut? That's the perspective that we're seeing here. So yeah, they're Smotrich says calls Gaza a real estate bonanza. Says U.S. and Israel discussing dividing the land. So now even the funny thing is it's not even funny because remember this is the reason part of this Gaza land nonsense. The U.S. is going to get it was this weird way to float it out as if this was some sort of savvy business deal. What we're going to be doing and that we're trying to rehabilitate the land. There's almost this unsaid implication that oh yeah, and then they could maybe, yeah, the Gazans would have a nice place. You're like, but could the Gazans come back? And you're like You're like, I don't think they're going to let them come back, are you? It's like you're just trying to fucking kick them off this land and then fucking soup it up. And the whole like we'll take care of it is this way to kind of somewhat satiate and whatever, despite it being retarded as fuck, to satiate the essentially the magatards that like, oh, this will be some sort of deal. We're going to make money off this. It's a real estate deal. But now it's not even that. It's like now it's already become, oh, well, now we're getting a cut. So it's not even that anyway. So as I guess could have been guessed really. But yeah, Smotrich and Wednesday described it as a real estate bonanza in the U.S. and Israel are in talks about dividing the land. The Israeli news site Ynet has reported. He referenced what he called the business plan that Ynet said was similar to a plan being circulated within the Trump administration. Which we covered that one before. So I guess now there's like it seems like they're having different plans of this. I know we covered that weird like crypto scam and like all this like, we'll promise them a credit to whenever they get to where they're going, that essentially putting these like poor people, these refugees on some sort of like company money fucking concept scam and trying to sell it to us. It's like, look how great we're being. When it's just completely bamboozling, just trying to make it seem like something it's not. But yeah, so I guess they're still floating around these sort of things. I think I was reading something earlier. I guess this is right here. This plan was built by the most professional people there are, Smotrich said on Wednesday, adding that's currently on President Trump's desk. We are checking how this becomes a real estate bonanza. I'm not joking, and pays for itself, he said. Woo, the murder pays for itself. Woo-hoo, pew, pew, pew. Fun times. This is the people above you. So yeah, wild. And this is as they're doing. As they're rampantly murdering people in Gaza City, telling them to go to the south, where the south is where they had told them to go before for these supposed future concentration camps. I don't know what's going on with that, but they are still sort of telling them to go there. So we may still get concentration camps in this narrative along the line. We'll see. Next story, Netanyahu's justifying bombing the Qatar by pointing to Qatari payments to Hamas he helped facilitate. No need to read this whole article. If you followed this show long enough, or just this issue, you're aware of what the Qatari thing really is. That is, they were paying Hamas through Qatar was essentially the deal. Like they were facilitating the payments. Like Israel was. Like their whole logic of control, like the controlling the height of the flame and all that. That was them. So their justification for bombing Qatar is that they're paying Hamas. Well, I guess that means Netanyahu should commit some seppuku, I guess, by this logic. I mean, there's no real point in it, but just this is where we're at. This is where we're at. Just not even really, just nothing. And then at the same time, we have the House trying to essentially build a unlimited U.S. weapons transfer program that goes to Israel with little oversight. It's calling a secretive arms stockpile. So this is something they're passing through. So hidden deep in a must-pass State Department funding bill is a provision that would allow for unlimited transfers of U.S. weapons to a special Israel-based stockpile in the next fiscal year, strengthening a pathway for giving American weapons to Israel with reduced public scrutiny. The House Foreign Affairs Committee is set to discuss the bill Wednesday morning. So still shoving all these things through. And then also, this is a weird blast from the past. I thought this was gone. There's, I guess, Mahmoud Khalil. I guess they're still trying to deport his ass. He is the guy who was some college student who had just had the gall to dare to say anything negative about Israel. And they decided you got to get the fuck out because you're an anti-Semite or some shit, despite the fact they were like, I think he was the one that was literally videos of him like going over the top and being like, love our Jewish brothers or whatever the fuck, like doing some kumbaya nonsense. He was not an anti-Semite by any stretch of the imagination, unless you define that as being anti-Israel. But I guess there was a immigration judge that ordered him to be deported to Syria or Algeria. I guess now the idea is it's some sort of essentially for failing to disclose certain information on his green card application. So obviously I don't know what the specific information is. Maybe that would make a difference to me, whether I'd be like, oh, okay, well, that seems fair, but sounds to me like some sort of lame technicality and probably being targeted by the administration. So we'll see. They are going to appeal it. He is recently a father. I don't know the guy personally or anything, but yeah, that would be pretty awful. This guy's been a resident for like ever. He's got a wife, a kid here. Be pretty crazy. Be like, well, you got to get the fuck out of here and go to Syria now. Like, okay. All right. That's great. And then on the Gaza City stuff, we've got, here we go. Gaza's never been hit like this before. This is from Kyle Anzalone. I just wanted to kind of skim through this real quick to kind of give you an idea of what the battle is like. Or not battle is not even the right word. The destruction, I guess. How this looks on the ground. So because it's like what's going on here. Now we're talking about like a densely populated. I mean, it is densely populated, but more like I'm thinking more like the buildings, like dense buildings, I guess. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Whatever. So in this sort of area, how this would go down, and it's not, they don't really, and in a situation where you don't really, as far as I'm aware, I haven't heard of anything of them being attacked or anything like that. So I don't know if they're really dealing with any sort of resistance forces or anything. So how does this look? Well, like they're basically just throwing in robots to make boom booms. So Wall News reported Wednesday that Major General Assor's battle plans for Gaza City are broken into 3 stages that include destroying the infrastructure. The first stage, dubbed the fire phase, focuses on the massive destruction of terrorist infrastructure. What they mean is the buildings, all of the buildings. They just mean everything. Mostly at night. So these bombings are happening at night. So those people who decide to stay, I mean, I guess maybe they're probably, yeah. So as at night when they can, adds to the terror, that's when these bombs are going to be dropped. Or not even bombs, we'll get into that. Using a variety of means, including above and below ground robots. Below ground robot sounds terrifying. I don't know what that means. Military source told Walla the scale of destruction is unprecedented. It says Gaza has never been hit like this before. Okay, I'm trying to see. There's some more on the robots. But yeah, they're essentially sending these robots in, I guess as you could say, as like suicide bombers. Although they're not really, obviously they're robots, but yeah, so they're sending in all sorts of robots and just blowing these buildings up in the middle of the night. And, whether there's people in there or not, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, obviously we're limited on information here too with all the internet and stuff being out. And then I do have a couple of videos from stuff going on over there that I did want to show you guys that I collected. So let's go through these. And then we'll get into our main topics for today. Now, here is this is a video from Israeli snipers opening fire on aid seekers. So this is the aid stuff. So another, let's watch this for the audio people. Whatever, fast forward. This isn't really going to mean anything from you. You're just going to hear a bunch of Arab babble. So you can see these people off in the distance. They're grabbing what looks like a flour or whatever the hell is in these sacks.
هاي كمان واحد يا ولدي
هاي وقع هاي وقع يما.
You hear the gunshots? Oh shit, just saw one go down. I think another one down. Holy shit. I think we're watching murder right now. That's not great.
هاي وقع هاي
طقعوا
ولدي.
Oh, I think that guy got hit. Oh, all right, this is gross. This feels awful. But yeah, this is literally, here's the video. I mean, I don't speak Israeli. I'm assuming that's what this is. But I assume the words here are not great. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff they're doing over here. I'm assuming he probably videoed it for his own fun, if I had to guess. I'm not going to scroll through this one. I wanted to make you guys aware of this. I made the mistake myself earlier with this one right here. This is on Rutger Bregman. He posted about it, but so if you go through this thread, it's an article as well. So this is an investigation by Dutch newspaper De Volkskrant. It says 15 international doctors report at least 114 Palestinian children with single gunshot wounds to head and the chest. Injuries forensic experts say are consistent with aimed fire. So this was an investigation that the Dutch did, kind of breaking down the statistics and pictures and stuff, because I guess some of these people that were there, these international, doctors and stuff did take photos of this stuff, so they're able to collect some of the evidence. For one example, what we're looking at right here, the one thing I will show you, since it's a little less visceral, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still a little bit kind of shaken of just scrolling down past this one, because he did the thread thing where it's a different picture of each one of the different children in this. Because yeah, you can go through this article if you'd like, or this report or whatever, and it'll show you all of them. It's like I said, I accidentally scrolled down earlier. Don't recommend it. But here, what we're looking at right now, this is from Mira. It's an X-ray of Mira, who was 4 years old. And what you're seeing right there is very clearly, for anyone who's viewing it, for the audio, I mean, you'll just have to take my word for it. What you're viewing is in the center of her head, a bullet. It didn't go through all the way, which actually, as dark as information is to know, that's actually a pretty significant sign, I guess, to tell that this is something that wasn't an accident. If you have it something like a bullet like this, especially for a child, since I guess they have thinner skulls, if you're dealing with bullets that aren't doing the through and through, you're likely dealing with probably a distance shot. I've never had to think about that concept before and how that would work. Dark thing to think about, but yeah. So essentially, they've broken down, analyze all these different deaths, and based on where the bullets went, this, that, how many bullets they hit with, and they've basically statistically concluded that it'd be damn near impossible for this to be anything other than intentional. That they are literally just sniping children. I mean, it's unthinkable, but it's. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of undeniable almost. So yeah, and then I guess one last video on this. This is on the West Bank. I know we didn't talk about it, but there's been they've been abducting people over there. And when people think about an annex, like annexing an area, I don't think we really think about what that exactly means. And this, I think, is a good example of what that means. When you look at this right here, this is kind of fucking terrifying to look at, to be honest, just to imagine this. It says that Israeli occupation forces abduct over 1,000 Palestinians, including children, from Tulkarm and its surroundings in the occupied West Bank. So here's a video of them walking them out, like hands above their head or hands in forward, kind of like Trail of Tears, or even almost reminiscent of accounts you hear from World War II when people recount the Holocaust and being marched out. Or I mean, not the Holocaust. Well, maybe. I guess the Holocaust wasn't just one event. So it was numerous events. I think there were some where they did firing squad type stuff. So yeah, that is. There are. I'm thinking of prior, whatever genocides or whatever, where this is the sort of things they would do. Where it'd be oh, we're just bringing you to this next location. Just everyone hands above your head. Keep your children close. And march in a single file line with men with guns behind you. And then you get to a certain point and boom, it's game over. I mean, I don't know what became of these people. I mean, I guess I lean towards they're probably alive. They're probably hostages now. But you can see here's them marching them out. So I don't know. Just at least for me, I don't know. I especially with they said. I mean, I don't see any kids in this one. They said one of these is kind of short. I don't know. But they're saying there were kids here too. But just I don't know. Something about this is just wrapping your head around this right here is just fucking kind of terrifying. The idea that you live in your homes and just people with guns just fucking come up and round up everyone in your neighborhood and fucking march you and your family out single file line. This is literally this sort of horror porn that you get here recounted every fucking year with numerous Hollywood productions with Holocaust type stuff, which I mean, I guess that was bad too, but it was but there's other stuff that happened too. So I mean, obviously the focus on just the one thing maybe is a bit much, but I don't know. All right, let's move on. Let's check it in the chat. I don't know, something about watching these people being marched out like this, and just wrapping your head around that. Because you hear about annexing, you hear about this, that, and you don't really think about what that could really mean. You're that's some wild shit. All right, let's pop the chat, see what you guys got to say. It's been a minute. Man, a lot of y'all in here today. Nice. Good to see you. What do we got in here? I'm gonna have to start monetizing more. Bobo, you might get your way. I'm gonna have to go to super chats or something. The way that the chat's been growing lately, the way the channel seemingly, there's more people showing up for the morning show. It's big. The people love it. I don't know what to say, but I'm gonna have to start actually doing something with some sort of super chat or something, so I don't have to deal with because I used to like to try to talk to all of you guys in chat. Now we're getting past that. I'm no longer a poor. I can no longer talk to most of my audience. No Hoblo saying I should get the mullet since I already got the kids anyways. Like, what's she going to do? Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad point, but I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Let's see. Sorry, just scrolling through. Seeing if any new people join us. Good morning, Sky High. Seeing you in the chat. Good morning. First, I'm seeing you. Good morning, Pollo Paradis. Or good to see you. Hoblo said, I had a girlfriend dump me for watching Global War on Terrorism GoPro footage back in 2015. Now it's all over everybody's timelines. Yeah. Nevsky says, the synagogue of Satan is sacrificing children. No way. They never do that. Bump says that bullet looks like it fell from way up high, like someone shot in the air. Well, yeah, I was assuming, if I had to guess, she was probably running or leaning forward or something, because it did look like it came down. But I guess it does bounce around in there, because that's the thing. Like, that bullet was inside the head, so like it probably a little dinged around in her head. As dark as that is to say like this, but like, yeah, it probably did move around. So whatever way it was pointing, like you said, looking like it came from, I don't think it's actually probably an accurate representation of its trajectory at all. So yeah. All right, let's get into the main stuff. What do we got? All right, let's start off with the Kimmel stuff. Make sure I'm getting audio over here. I am. All right, I'm not going to give you anything. You guys know what's up. But this is the big bad thing. I guess Kimmel said. I heard it. Someone say earlier. I haven't heard it. Like, I heard someone else say, like, repeat it. Like, so far as like the actual physical, but I didn't see him delivering it. So this will be my first time, I guess, watching it like that. So, although from what I heard, I believe, if I recall correctly, that essentially he just makes an incorrect statement, but we'll see. We'll judge after we watch this.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, there was grieving. On Friday, the White House flew the flags at half-staff, which got some criticism. But on a human level, you can see how hard the president is taking this.
My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks? They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty.
Yes. Okay. He's at the fourth stage of grief, construction. Demolition, construction. This is not how an adult grieves the murder of someone he called a friend.
Let's start this over real quick.
We had some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between,
honestly, seeing it when I saw it written out, it was actually worse. This is ridiculous. I saw it written out before. It was the way actually seeing it delivered, in my opinion, makes it like nothing. This isn't like what is he wrong about? Like, okay, I will say his characterization. All right, because when I heard it read out, it sounded like he was asserting that it was MAGA. He's not even asserting it. I mean, he's kind of casting allusions to it, kind of like, oh, MAGA's trying to do anything other than blame it on themselves or whatever. I forget how exactly he framed it, but obviously he's kind of implying that it was a MAGA guy, which is incorrect. So when I first heard this, I thought he was like essentially asserting. So at least it'd be like, well, he's kind of seeding out, very false info that's like, I mean, there was nothing to support that if you're asserting that. And it doesn't really even seem to corroborate with like any sort of like intuition based on what we know, really. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, this is... All right, well, I mean... For those who are aware, I guess I'm kind of assuming a little bit too much, but this is what I guess Kimmel supposedly got fired over. So I guess supposedly MAGA called them a bunch or some shit. But let's actually read the BBC story on it so we can get more of a tale of like kind of where we're at over this. This ABC takes Jimmy Kimmel off air over Charlie Kirk comments. So this ABC has pulled late night host Jimmy Kimmel off air indefinitely over comments he made about the shooting of right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk. So Jimmy Kimmel Live will be preempted indefinitely, a spokesperson for the Disney-owned network said in a statement. Earlier this week, Kimmel said during his show that the MAGA gang was trying to score political points off Kirk's killing. Yeah, they are. I mean, it's objectively just, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, I guess it depends who or what, or like what you mean specifically by that. But there definitely are political actors out there doing that. So like, I mean, whatever. Even then, it's kind of like, so what? I mean, whatever. You disagree with it. I mean, you don't even know who specifically he's thinking of. Kimmel has not commented, but President Donald Trump said it was great news for America. Suspension came just hours after the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission chair, Brendan Carr, threatened to act against Disney and ABC over Kimmel's remarks. Now, this is where I have the big fucking issue. For one, I guess not even, I still like, even this absent, I'm still like, this is super fucking gay. Super gay. Like, if the story truly is that MAGA fucking threw a bitch fit and fucking called up ABC, like, you know, fervently or whatever, or some sort of you guys fucking suck online campaign, and Kimmel got fired over that, that's disgusting, frankly. It's fucking gross. But I am no friend of his or liker of Kimmel, especially what he's become. I think he's fucking gross, frankly. So I don't really give a shit that he got fired. But like, I mean, frankly, it was probably a long time coming, as many people have kind of spun this already. Like, oh, and maybe there's truth to it, that like, oh, it was his bad ratings that did it. Like, I'm not entirely sure between the FCC thing and these fucking homos, berating ABC over Kimmel making some tepid remarks. Then yeah, this is super gay. And you guys are a bunch of faggots. I don't know what else to cut it other than that. And then it's further than just faggots. If we're talking about the FCC getting involved, now we're talking about, this is genuinely of concern. This is more than just you guys are being homos. This could be a problem in the future, and I don't like this at all. This is more than just haha, you guys suck. Because like, whatever. If you like, so far as calling people getting fired and stuff, I just think it's gay. I just think you're a pathetic faggot. That's all I think. Like, if you're someone doing that, engaging that, it's just gay. It's just gay. Like, but like, is it objectively wrong? Should it be illegal? Should men with guns do something to you? No. But now we're talking about the literal apparatus of violence getting involved. So yeah, now where it's characteristically different. Now it's, whoa, what the fuck? Which is kind of like what everyone's been concerned of, because there is, to some degree, there is a line between this and that. So it's like people, I'll be honest, when this first started up, this is part of my concern that, oh no, they're going to do gay shit like this. And lo and behold, I mean, so it's like, you kind of can read the tea leaves, and it's like, yeah, they may only be talking about canceling the left or whatever, but it's like, yeah, but how long does that not roll into, especially if you're people who believe in the properness of government or whatever, that like, when does this leak into, well, we're going to get the government involved. I don't trust you to have a principled line at all. So once you guys you fucking idiots, you idiot fags, start fucking freaking out about somebody saying some things against your belief systems, then yeah, and I my ears perk up. I'm like, oh, this is totally going to transcend into the political, like the literal political or violence very soon. And here we are, perhaps. I mean, now everyone's going, oh, well, he got fired or whatever. But it's like, I mean, this dude should get fired. Brandon Carr should get fired. The idea he would even dare to say a fucking word about this is insane. Like a word at all. Like you shouldn't even be commenting on your thoughts on this, let alone threatening DC or Disney. It's just, I don't know, it's insane. So that's the real crux of this. I mean, I don't even really need to go through more of this. That's kind of really it. But yeah, that's just insane. To me, personally, I think this is weird. And then we have here's Nurse Kate saying, my husband, Benny Johnson, made this happen. Well, congrats, Nurse Kate. You married a faggot. Which he is. Benny Johnson, that is 100% what he is. He is a despicable fucking scum. He just is. Like, that video that Glenn Greenwald, the one that went around and was like that blackmail. I'm not going to recall what he did because it's gross. But that's what I think of when I think of Benny Johnson. Like, that's the kind of shit I expect he does. Like, he's just gross. Like, and I don't even mean like literally, just like metaphorically. Like I just see that. Like that. His behavior is metaphorically that. Like, it's just gross. Like, Every time. I mean, he was one of the he did kind of put up a fight initially, sort of in the Epstein stuff, and then caved pretty quickly. He's just disgusting. But yeah, I just wanted to point it out. I guess Benny Johnson took some sort of claim for this, and so yeah, if you guys want to look for a scum homo, here you go. Here's the one you can blame 10 years from now when I don't know, I'm in jail because I said the N-word on a stream 3 years ago. That's great. Thank you, Benny Johnson. Thank you for your contributions. You fucking piece of shit. I'm sorry. I know I'll be a little worked up with it. And then to even add to this, we have JD Vance just trolling him, which this once again, this is a weird spot. I mean, I guess, yeah, you can give your opinions, but kind of much in the same way the FCC guy kind of shouldn't say shit about this situation. Frankly, JD kind of shouldn't either. He is the vice president. And this is a situation where the FCC was edited. It just looks weird, looks improper. And here's him saying, "Everyone, please congratulate Marco Rubio, the new host of ABC's Late Night Show," which I don't really understand the Marco Rubio joke. If there's some sort of weird, I guess it's some sort of meme, but it's obviously, I can tell by the comments, maybe it's some sort of insular joke I don't get in the MAGA world. But yeah, and this is him trolling essentially Kimmel, being like, "Oh, you're gone." And you're like, okay, dude. I mean, I don't know. Just congrats. You got a late night host no one fucking cares about anymore fired. Congrats. This is what you're doing. And then here's Tucker. Once again, kind of like a little rant I had earlier where I was surprised that hey, I don't know, maybe this guy really is a real boy. And Tucker is still once again sticking with this, giving the genuine real boy vibes. Here's his take on all of this sort of stuff and juxtaposed against Matt Walsh's, which we'll read in a second.
You hope that. You hope that Charlie Kirk's death won't be used by a group we now call bad actors to create a society that was the opposite of the one he worked to build. You hope that. You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath of his murder won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. And trust me, if that does happen, there is never a more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever, and there never will be. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think, there is nothing they can't do to you because they don't consider you human. They don't believe you have a soul. A human being with a soul, a free man, has a right to say what he believes, not to hurt other people, but to express his view.
So I think, I just wanted a little side comment. I think we're about to get I really think Tucker might be under his rope, if I had to guess. Just reading the especially if you want to see him as a real boy. I think maybe if you want to give him good faith for previous stuff, I do think maybe he thought, and it makes sense, a lot of people said it's better for him to be friendly with the president because he can work some things. I think, especially if they continue down this road that I'm feeling out, because I think this was in response particularly to a lot of the hate speech stuff we talked about yesterday. Yeah, a lot of people are not having it, and Tucker amongst them. And yeah, I can totally see him just completely turning here soon. I'm actually surprised how that much the hate speech won. There's been multiple people that have kind of been a little bit of hangers on. That there really is. I mean, it's just kind of this administration is just a nonstop, seeming like a roller coaster of maybe roller coaster not the best, but of just ongoing or cycles of just jumping off points over and over again. Just major moments of where all right, well, the 5% flees the group, and then, 10% flees. It's almost like an army that's being advanced upon by a greater army and just slowly losing deserters as it goes. It's dude, you're just fucked. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this all works. But I mean, now this was juxtaposed. The James Lee actually quote tweeted that said Tucker Carlson greater than Matt Walsh, and then here's Matt Walsh's take saying Jimmy Kimmel lied about Charlie's assassination. He used the opportunity to fame Charlie's own friends and allies. He deserves to be fired for it. These are the repercussions that conservatives have been experiencing for years for infractions not nearly as egregious. Good riddance, Kimmel, you disgusting scumbag. No, I think you're the disgusting scumbag here, Matt Walsh. I think that was a perfectly appropriate take for someone who disagrees with you. There's nothing crazy that Kimmel said. There really wasn't. What was crazy? I mean, he clearly has his take on the matter, clearly has a slightly different perspective on it. He's clearly leaning more towards some sort of right-wing something in this take. But whatever. He seemed to have a little bit of a bad impression. And yeah, he did make fun of Trump. I do think it's not even... Fuentes on a stream recently was bringing this up and pointing out how fucking disgusting it was. And then then you have Matt Walsh, who's rushing to Trump's aid to be like, yeah, he should be fired because he made fun of his friends. You mean Trump when he was actually I don't know. That was just insane. I mean, I don't really know what to. I don't know if I guess people grieve differently and all, but the whole and we're building over here. We played art. Okay. I mean, I don't know. Then there was he didn't. I do not get the vibe that Trump. I just really don't think he gives a fuck, to be honest. I don't know. That's a perspective I get from seeing him about. I mean, I don't know. I guess you're just seeing snapshots of a man. But yeah, I mean, it's just wild. And then we have just these people like this just jumping on, be like, oh yeah, fuck him. You know he did bad shit once. You're like, yeah, you do realize you're piling on to what is I don't know, very dangerous pile on here. There's clearly there's a road here that people are taking. And Matt Walsh probably won't take that off road until he'll probably sit here and rah, fuck Jimmy, he's a piece of shit, he said this, he said that. And then at some point, a week or two from now, after everyone's all riled up, he'll be like, hey guys, hate speech is not a thing, don't forget that. After I riled up the entire mob to fucking kill Jimmy Kimmel. Metaphorically. So yeah, yeah. Fuck you, Matt Walsh. But all right, let's check in the chat, and then we'll make fun of Kash Patel with a bunch of fun little clips for today. Let's check in, see what you guys got to see. Yeah, Kimmel had the tamest comment about Kirk that's been said so far. Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. Yeah. Poyo said of all the things Jimmy has said this joke is always not funny, but also not a big deal. Yeah, it wasn't really that funny at all. Yeah. I mean, actually the funniest part was Trump, and that wasn't even, had nothing to do with him. And it was just the darkly funny part of that that was genuinely his reaction. So, yeah, I don't know. All right, guys, hit that like button. Bobos keep bugging you. There's over 60 of y'all, and how is there only 20 likes? Fucking step that shit up. This is much more tame than wishing death on unvaccinated. Yes, sure. Fire him. Yeah, I'm that would have been time and been I would have been more on their side. Nevsky said FCC chairman threatened to suspend ABC's license, so ABC chose to fire Kimmel. But now, obviously, Trump's already come out. I didn't bring that clip because I didn't really care. But Trump, said it was lack of talent, and other people are saying this too. Which, on that point, I do think he probably, if I had to guess, his days were numbered. I kind of doubt Kimmel would have lasted a year. So I do think that actually probably plays. I do think it probably had more. If I had to guess, it probably has something to do with the FCC. And then ABC probably didn't even care to fight it because they're like, man, we're probably going to fire this guy in a year anyways. So, yeah, they probably didn't care to do it. But now here we are, and this sets a freaky precedent. I don't like it. Moon Gypsy Sharon, that's a fun name. Trump is a petulant old man child. That's why he got fired. Yes. Yeah, the Rootless is saying, he is saying the dude was MAGA, obvious BS, but I'm also cool with it anyways to get the jerk-offs canned. Okay. Good morning, David F. Outs. Good to see you here. I think that's good morning. Good morning. No Hoblo says, I think it's wild how many people think that kid actually shot Kirk. I don't think we get better psyops because the ones we get seem to work 80% of the population. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the kid did it, I guess. I don't think that's it. I really doubt that's all of the story. That's my thing. Jabba the Hutt says, late night peak boomer Goyslop. You are correct. Yeah. So exactly. Bobo says Jimmy Kimmel sucks. His show sucked. His show was failing anyway, if I remember correctly, but I'm not calling people's employers. Exactly. Exactly. This guy sucks. Why do you need to be a faggot about it? So, Nevsky points out all the many better reasons why they should be fired. CESTP says, if anyone thinks Jimmy and Steven were fired over words, you're dumb. Their contracts were drafted when late night shows were still a thing. This is a convenient way to drop an expensive failed asset. Okay, but it's both though. That's my point. Yes, I get it. He was failing and it didn't take much, but I do think MAGA freaking the fuck out over a nothing burger and also almost certainly the FCC threatening to pull ABC's license. Yeah, I think those may have contributed to the firing of Jimmy Kimmel. Yeah, and I do think that matters, even despite the fact I do think he's scum. Because I'm not retarded. So, I don't know. Yeah. Good morning, Daz. Good morning. Good morning. Well, good morning, Allura. This is the Hunger Games in real time. Benny Johnson looks like an undercover gay, says Bobo. Who else we got? Oh, we got a tower in the chat. Nice. Are Kirk jokes okay in this chat? I mean, you can, but I'd be careful because it is a live chat and it is documented, and you will get thrown in the gulag. But I'm cool with it. Good morning, Jesse James. Is MAGA failing at new levels, canceling everything? Cancel everything until they're not embarrassed. Yes, I know, right? Let me see what else we got here. Tom says, I could see them waiting for a good on paper reason to fire him, like when a shitbag employee finally comes in late one too many times. Exactly. Good morning, Mike Mortal. Good to see you here. Dems set this precedent years ago. Just give them the taste of their own medicine now. Boo-hoo. I mean, I will give you the boo-hoo. Like, I will say, like, the crocodile tears, I can hold two thoughts at the same time. I can go, okay, boo-hoo, like, yeah, you guys did a lot of shitty stuff. But at the same time, it's like, all right, but we got to stop. We can't do this. We can't, because then we do it, and then they do it, and then they do it, and then we do it, and then we do it. It's like, you just can't do this. This is nuts. And it's just gay. Like, why would you want to be a bunch of faggots? Is this the people that you want to cavort with? I don't want a bunch of school marms. Like, I don't. So, I don't know. Okay. All right, let's get into it now. All right, now we're going to make fun of Kash Patel a bunch, which I'm looking forward to. This will be maybe a little bit more lighthearted, be more fun, just making fun of this guy. Everyone can agree on that, I think, most part. I'll actually say that. I was actually kind of astounded now that I think about it. Although it was only like a few like slop accounts, like the slop larger influencer accounts that were doing this. But there were a few accounts that were like spinning some of these Kash moments and being like, "Oh, Kash crushed Eric Swalwell," and you're like, then you watch the longer than the 5-second clip where like, you know, you get like one little clip of fucking, you know, Kash saying something like it's true about like some like of his Democratic opponent. And then it's like, but the rest of the clip is like, oh, here's your Democratic opponent absolutely bending you over the rail and fucking humiliating you. And then the MAGA idiots come out here with a fucking little 10-second snapshot. It's like, oh, Kash crushes Eric Swalwell. I've seen a few of those, but not a lot. But it was pretty astounding to see, like, how could you even try to run with this? Because I think you'll see that the clips. There's so many. There's not even really like a overarching theme. It's just other than Kash is a fucking idiot. Here's Jake Shields saying Kash Patel is covering for his pedo boss. Kash made it very, very clear that Trump is in the Epstein files. I'm sorry, MAGA, but fucking kids is where I draw the line. But it seems the majority of you are okay with it. And here is that one of the Swalwell Kash interactions that I'm referring to.
Remembering your oath to tell the truth, did you ever tell Donald Trump his name is in the files?
I have never spoken to President Trump about the Epstein files.
Did you ever tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The Attorney General and I have had numerous discussions about the entirety of the Epstein files and the reviews conducted by our team.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
And we have released where President Trump's name is in the Epstein files. It's a simple question.
Did you tell the Attorney General that the President's name is in the Epstein files?
During many conversations that the Attorney General and I have had on the matter of Epstein, we have reviewed.
The question is simple.
Who
did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files? Yes or no?
Why don't you try spelling it out?
Yes or no, Director?
Use the alphabet.
Yes or no?
No, A, B, C,
Director,
D, E, F.
It sounds like you don't want to tell us. Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name was in the Epstein files?
Why don't you try serving your constituency by focusing on reducing violent crime in this country and the number of pedophiles that are legally harbored in your sanctuary cities in California?
By the way, I'm pretty sure that I was just teasing the influencer slop accounts, and I think this like literal like 10-second bit that we're watching right now is what I'm referring to. Maybe it was another spot, because I mean, granted, Swalwell's in a lot of scummy shit, so there's a lot of stuff to do this political back and forth name calling and to make him look stupid. But for the topic at hand, Kash's handling of the FBI, Swalwell is fucking just fucking speed bagging his balls right now.
California. I'll work with you on that.
Regular order, Mr. Chairman. Director,
I'm the lawless gentleman from California.
Did you tell the Attorney General that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files?
The question has been asked and answered.
You have not answered it, and we will take your evasiveness as a consciousness.
Yeah, it doesn't get any better. Man. Here's Lou. Who is this? I think another Democrat one, whoever this guy is. But we'll just watch this one. We're enjoying these clips.
now credible leads.
And in the Epstein file, was there that creepy birthday message that Donald Trump had written to Epstein?
But that's what I was trying to tell you. You raise a great point. The estate of Jeffrey Epstein has a voluminous amount of information that they have not released before.
Okay, so that's great. So would it be great if FBI subpoenaed the estate of Jeffrey Epstein for all that information?
The estate is under no obligation to provide that material, even pursuant to a subpoena. That's a great point.
Yeah, that's just false.
Okay.
That's just false. You're the frickin' FBI. You can subpoena the information from the estate, and you better do that.
That's literally not how it works.
I'm going to move on now.
I mean, I guess I don't know. To be fair, I don't know how that works, but it's like me saying that's not how that works. Man, I guess I don't know how you get a subpoena, to be honest. But given the scenario here, like, I'm pretty sure you could probably find a way to get a subpoena. I don't know what legal loopholes you got to go through, but as we'll get into, actually, I'll see if I can find, see if it's the next one. Let me see if I can find the one. There's one specifically that actually kind of ties into this one. Let me see if I can find it real quick. All right. Yeah, here's another one that I think kind of ties into this, the point that I was about to drive at here. Now watch this one too.
The president you've seen the picture of the woman's body with the writing and the president's signature. The president says that's not his. Okay? President says it's not his. The Republican colleagues say it's not his. The administration say it's not his. Will you be opening up an investigation into the Epstein estate for putting out a fake document with the president's signature linking him to the world's largest pedophile ring? Will you be opening that investigation into that?
On what basis?
On what basis? They literally put out a fake document.
This guy brings up a good point. I don't know how I've never thought of this, because this was a big deal. The whole fucking the signature thing, which I got a lot of shit for pointing out around the time he died, or actually before we knew he was dead. I think that who was one of the first people to run to this is bullshit. This isn't his signature. Charlie Kirk. I mean, I'm sorry, it is what it is. I mean, now, granted, we know more information. It may have been more like one of those. There's not a goddamn. That's not his goddamn signature, Charlie. That's not his fucking signature. You get me? Right? Yeah, it's not his signature. Yeah, it's not his signature. It may have been one of those. I don't know, but it was insane. The quickness with him and many others that jumped to no. That's not his signature. That's not his signature. Well, all right. So then. I mean, Frank, it's funny that they all said it wasn't his signature, and then it's very clear then, shortly after, it's very clearly his signature, so far as it matches. Now, I guess you could make the case of some sort of deep fake. I don't really feel like it probably really takes that crazy of technology to be able to fake a signature. So, sure, it's plausible, but funny enough, no one ever really ran with that angle. That would have made more sense. They just said, oh, that's not his, that's not his. But point being is if everyone wants to say that's not his, then it's like, okay, then you're telling us that they presented a forgery to you. And I think that might be a good point there. So something to it.
Basis. They literally put out a fake document, according to the president, with a fake signature. It's a forgery of the president of the United States signature. That's the basis.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay. I look forward to that investigation.
And then there you'd be able to get subpoenas, I would assume.
Oh, am I over? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate your diligence.
Gentleman's time has expired. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from California.
All right, what else have we got? All right, we got a little bit of a. Well, this isn't a long one. This is different. This isn't about. Now, this is, I think, worthwhile just to watch. You'll see in a second. But apparently, I didn't realize this was a thing that happened a while ago. But I guess at some point, the FBI, or as Biden, I guess, back in Biden's administration, they raided James O'Keefe. I just thought this was a fun way to see how the FBI operates. Just watch this.
The second document that I want to submit to the record, for the record, I know we don't usually read these. This one's not readable. It's completely redacted for the most part, the first 50 pages. This is actually the search warrant that was served on James O'Keefe for a diary that he had already given to the government 2 months before. And as it turns out, there were no indictments here, yet he still doesn't know why he was raided, and I think he deserves to know. So,
objection.
All right, now let's look back at this real quick. Just in case you missed it, let's look at this.
It's not.
Look at that. That's just one he opened randomly, and he actually flips through them, and you can see other ones. So he's not like trying to be, not like some magic trick or here, like, oh, just see this one page with other redactions. Look at this fucking, these are the warrants. So this is a search warrant. Redacted search warrant So this is what James O'Keefe received in order essentially for his search warrant. So he doesn't even know why. Here, where's your search warrant? Here you go. A bunch of fucking redactions. Like, I don't even like. I would assume to some degree. I mean, I'm no legal expert. That I would assume to some degree the warrants to let you know why they're doing it, so that the government can't just fucking willy nilly pop up. I mean, yeah, you got to get a judge to sign off on it. But to some degree, I'd assume it's a little bit of a back and forth. It's also to let the citizen whose property is being invaded know why, and they've already seen a local authority for such. But if you provide me this incredibly redacted document, it's like, for one, I don't know why. It almost makes me feel like what's going on here. It doesn't seem proper to me. But what do I know? But yeah, look at this.
Readable.
Yeah, you see him flipping through. It's nothing but black. For
the most part, the first 50 pages. This is actually.
So yeah, that's what James O'Keefe received when his house got raided by Biden's administration. So this is how they operate. Nothing's really changed, as we can see. All right, here's back to the Swalwell Patel back and forth, which, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I made a joke on Twitter saying Cole's been crushing it since after, but I mean, it's weird seeing Swalwell popping back up. Yeah, Cole has been crushing it since TG breakup. So, but yeah. Of course, the audio went out. It's right down the audio. Give me a minute. Let me pop in, pop back out. Sorry, I just realized the audio cut out. Here you go. All right, let's do it again. Oh, retarded. Give me a second. I gotta bring up the screen. Here you go.
You said you don't know the number of times Trump's name appears in the files, so it could at least be 1,000 times. Is that right?
The number is a total misleading factor. We have not released anyone's name that we have not released anyone's name in the Epstein files that has not been credible.
Director, could it at
we have
least be 1,000
released
times?
every piece of legally permissible information.
Okay,
you can
so
characterize the numbers however you want it.
Claiming my time, Director. It sounds like if you don't know the number, it could at least be 1,000 times.
It's not. It's not.
Is it at least 500 times?
No.
He's admitted, okay, just to recap this, he's admitted he doesn't know the number of times that Trump's name is in this. He's also throughout this, I mean, this may come up in some of the other clips, he literally, like, it seems damn near every question he's asked, it's like I don't really know, oh, my FBI, my team. So he's playing the leadership delegation game, but then playing this, like, I lord above it all, yet I accept no responsibility, and then anytime it's convenient, I don't know. So essentially coming in with no knowledge whatsoever. He's even claimed he hasn't looked through the Epstein files. He said the FBI has looked through the Epstein files. So he's basically fucking worthless, essentially. I don't really know what he's even saying he really does, other than, like, I'm the guy that gives, when some guy comes to me and says, hey, boss, we need to do this. So you can look at him and you go, thumbs up. Okay, kiddo. Like, wait, what are you doing here? Like, what do you do? So, yeah, and then you hear, like, here he is going, saying you don't know the number of times, so it could be at least 1,000, right? And so, like, I mean, he is playing a little bit of a rhetorical game with him. It's like, it could be 1,000. You don't know. And then he's like, you can characterize whatever you want. It's like, sounds like you don't number. It could be at least 1,000. He's like, it's not. And he's like, what about 500? He's like, no. And so it's a pretty smart move, I guess, in Swalwell's point, because then you narrow it down. And he goes, how about is it at least 100? And then he goes, so it's like, yeah. But I'll keep playing this.
Oh. Is it at least 100 times?
No.
Then what's the number?
I don't know the number, but it's not that.
Do you think it might be your job to know the number?
But yeah, it's also bizarre to do this. I don't know the number, but it's not that. Then what do you mean you don't know the number? Then you should give me something. Then you should at least be able to give something like, you need to at least explain that. What do you mean you don't know the number, but it's not that? Like, you could say, okay, I could maybe buy that, okay, somebody in my team told me that it was in the realm of 25 to 75 times, or I don't know what the number is or whatever, or gave me an estimate but it wasn't exact or something, but no, nothing, just I don't know the number, but it's not that. Okay, well then you're just obviously being evasive because you're saying you don't know it, yet you seem to have an opinion on how much the number is, and or like an opinion, and you're trying to sell it to us as if it's some sort of informed opinion. Well, then inform us how it's informed. Especially, and then as well it says, yeah, I think it's pretty fair to say this is his fucking job. He should be able to have these answers. I mean, and he did say, I mean, I think it's a clip we'll get to later. Like, I think he said that, no, actually, there was one we played earlier, that, like, he hadn't talked to Trump. Like, frankly, it's kind of astounding that he hasn't talked to Trump about this. Like, I guess technically, I think the Attorney General is technically the go-between for this, but I mean, he is the head of the FBI. How hasn't Trump talked to him about this? I don't know. I mean, weird to me. All right, here's one that's just, I guess, more of a funny. It's more of here's Patel being a dum-dum. So see if you guys catch it, and I'll tell you what it is.
When your predecessor sat right there in that seat a couple of years, last year in a committee hearing, I asked him a very detailed question about Matthew Thomas Crooks, the shooter responsible for the assassination attempt on President Trump's life. I did get an answer from Chris Wray that day, and I submitted written questions to the FBI and into the record of this committee. And I want to resubmit those questions today because I think we are still awaiting answers to those questions. So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to submit them for the record, please. I'd like to ask you, sir, and the FBI, under your leadership, would you please respond to these questions, and can you commit to doing that?
As soon as the trial's over.
Thank you very much.
All right, you may not have caught that one. He's being asked about Matthew Thomas Crooks, who's the shooter responsible for the assassination attempt on Trump's life. The first one. The dude's dead. So obviously he's a little low-hanging fruit, but I don't like him. I don't like Kash Patel, so I will make fun of you even when you do even when it's just silly little dumb mistakes. I don't like you a lot. Like a lot. I think you are pure evil and you're a piece of shit. So yeah, I will make fun of you even when you do dumb shit like this. Because I don't know, I guess... Well, I think something like this, like obviously I think maybe he mixed them up in his head, but it's like I guess I'm a little bit less forgiving and more pointing to idiocy the more you've already displayed idiocy elsewhere, I guess is my point. So because I normally would be hesitant to like really mock someone too much for like a misstated word or this or that, but when it's like already you've fucked everything up, it's like, I don't know, I think maybe I can take this as a little bit more of evidence towards you being a fucking dunce. So yeah, but whatever. I guess he probably did just miss that one. But all right, let's keep moving. Here's Patel trying to pick a fight with someone who's actually a fucking prosecutor. So I suppose he knows his stuff. So let's see what he has to say.
Do you know how court orders work? Do you know how protective orders work?
Actually,
you know
Mr. Patel, I was a prosecutor, a real prosecutor for 10 years. I know exactly how.
So I was a fake one?
And I want to understand what the court order prevents you from releasing witness statements that the FBI took.
You should know that as a real prosecutor, when the court hand downs a protective order and a motion to seal, the material is sealed unless
So
that
your
judge
testimony
waives
here
it.
is that all of those witness statements are under a court order, a protective order.
We are providing everything we can legally provide.
No, that's not my question. My question is, why are those witness statements that are not grand jury testimony, that if they were under a protective order are no longer under a protective order, why are they not being released?
How are they not under a protective order?
Why are you not going to the court like you did for the grand jury testimony to unseal those records?
The DOJ did go to the court.
No, not on those records. Why aren't you going? You just went on grand jury.
Time of the gentleman has expired.
You are hiding the Epstein files, Mr.
Time of the
Patel.
gentleman has expired.
This is fun. This is fun. All right, this is the last one. This one's a little bit long. This is Massey. This is the one probably did the most damage. Like I said, it is a little bit longer one. So let's go ahead and play this.
If anyone,
Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized for 5 minutes.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Patel, I watched some of your Senate hearing yesterday when Senator Kennedy asked you, you've seen most of the files, who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these women to besides himself? You replied, according to the transcript, there is no credible information that he trafficked them to anyone else. You also said somewhere in the hearing and here today that the problem is that the case files are constrained by limited search warrants from 2006 to 2007 and that the non-prosecution agreement hamstrung future investigations. Those constraints only apply to Southern District of Florida. They do not apply to Southern District of New York, the location of the 2019 sex trafficking indictment, which produced many things, including a series of FD 302 documents. According to victims who cooperated with the FBI in that investigation, these documents in FBI possession, your possession, detail at least 20 men, including Mr. Jess Staley, CEO of Barclays Bank, who Jeffrey Epstein trafficked victims to, victims including minors, such as Virginia Roberts Ufree, may she rest in peace. That list also includes at least 19 other individuals, one Hollywood producer worth a few $100 million, one royal prince, one high-profile individual in the music industry, one very prominent banker, one high-profile government official, one high-profile former politician, one owner of a car company in Italy, one rock star, one magician, at least 6 billionaires, including a billionaire from Canada. We know these people exist in the FBI files, the files that you control. I don't know exactly who they are, but the FBI does. Have you launched any investigations into any of these people, and have you seen these 302 documents?
Sir, I have asked my FBI agents to review the entirety of the Epstein files and bring forth any credible information. And we're working with Congress not only to divulge that information and produce it to you, but any investigations that arise from any credible investigation will be brought. There have been no new materials brought to me launching a new indictment.
So is the loophole here, or is it your assertion that these victims aren't credible, that the 302s maybe didn't produce credible statements that rise to a probable cause?
It's not my assertion, sir. It's the assertion of two different United States attorneys' offices from 3 separate administrations who investigated those same materials in lifetime.
Are the 302 documents in the FBI's possession?
They reviewed all that, yes, sir.
And so have you reviewed those 302 documents where the victims name the people who victimized them?
If I personally know, but the FBI has.
So how?
It's just insane that he would, at this point in time, still have this little familiarization with them. But let's go on.
Can you sit here and in front of the Senate and say there are no names?
I said
I named one today.
I said we are not.
This right here, this right here, I think is particularly interesting. Watch his answer. This is something I actually called. I mean, I don't know if I'd call it. I guess I wouldn't take credit for that. I mean, I'm one of many who's called it, but I think I was early on in it. That they started using, and it always come back to this like reflexive politician answer of like, we're not gonna whatever with victims, like over and over and over and over again. And then it was actually, I think it was actually a Dershowitz interview that I saw that actually got me thinking around this, because he at one point mentioned, oh yeah, some of the supposed the alleged criminals or whatever are victims because they're false allegations. Especially, hey, look, especially if you use the logic of like, well, look, no, they didn't. Look, well, they didn't. They looked through all the information, did all these court cases, and nothing happened. So like, I mean, I guess we would just assume, like, hey, especially like, hey, these people are probably innocent and were falsely accused. So these are victims. These guys are victims of a crime. So we need to conceal their information. So I know, I find that interesting. So watch this.
We are not in the practice at the Department of Justice FBI of releasing victims' names.
So that was his answer to why you won't give you haven't given any of the names of the men who or the people, I guess maybe some aren't men, who victimized these women or these children and women, because it was like a variation of the ages. I guess it's really only the children that we're really too concerned about, but like. Yeah, I just but then he does follow up with another line after that. It's almost like this catch-all. That's like, it's almost as if he realizes what he said. But let's go ahead.
It's not what we do. We are also not in the habit of releasing incredible information.
Yes, then we're not in the habit of releasing incredible information. But I did find it interesting he front-loaded that with the victims thing. Like, we're not in the habit of releasing victims' information, where it's like, I mean, I guess you could say that would be, you could maybe make a claim that's by extension the victims' information since it's part of their case. But given that we've already had this like whistleblower, like, on the front, what was on the White House lawn or wherever the hell it was, or Congress. Since we've already had that, I feel like that has a little less ground. It makes less sense that you could be like, well, I mean, a lot of these women have come out and said, like, no, they want this shit released. So, yeah. Or at least the men's name. And some of them have clarified that they don't want, like, maybe certain specific things. But what he's asking for here, I think there's no reason why they shouldn't be able to.
It's not what we do, but multiple authorities have looked at the entirety of what we have.
Okay, I got to move on here. Were you present when the AG had the White House event when she released the binders to social media influencers?
Which this is a good point. This is like, especially given the take now, like if you run things back, like if you knew what we knew now and you started back over from there, it makes the influencer thing was already pretty crazy, the influencer phase 1 nonsense, but if you knew what you knew now, you'd be like, it's almost grosser, because it's like, especially your take is there's nothing, yet you're still putting on this performance. Pretty fucking gross.
So if you're willing to meet with social media influencers who stood to benefit from the sensational and sad stories of these victims, will you meet with the victims as well?
The FBI will meet with anyone who has new information.
Will you personally meet with them?
The FBI and the professionals who are handling the cases will.
Were you instructed that it was important to release the documents to the Oversight Committee on the day of my introduction of the discharge petition to release these files?
I don't know what day that was, so no.
Well, they were released that day, and there were victims' names who weren't redacted because they were in such a rush, and the victims are not happy about that.
That's a good point, given he just complained about the victims thing. Like, you guys did release victims, and in the wrong way.
Gentleman from Kentucky is recognized for unanimous consent.
Mr. Chairman, I ask unanimous consent to submit 2 sets of documents. The first is a series of emails from the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. They are making FOIA requests to get their own FBI files and not having any success. So I want to bring attention to that by submitting that to the record.
Well, that's interesting too. That's more to my, he kind of buttresses my point I made a minute ago. They're like, hey, like even so, they're applying for FOIAs and they still can't get it. So they're literally going through the legal pathways to do so and still getting nothing. All right, let's see if there's anything new in the chat worthwhile, and then we'll move on. Is he saying they are victims of blackmail? Maybe. I guess you could say that. That's one way to take it, too. Hablo says he's been busy skeeting coke and having gay sex in Vegas. It's got to be time-consuming. Yeah, for those who I don't think I ever covered it on this show or any of these shows or any of my shows. I said it like I covered it on one of my other shows or something. What was I gonna say? Damn it. He was in Rouse, I guess, when this, I believe around the time, I don't know exactly what point in time. I know one of the point in times there was this like whole, back and forth, I guess, between the lower rank FBI and Kash, some sort of, him complaining that they were withholding evidence or this or that. And, it was actually funny. I remember, Ken wrote a piece on it. I forget all the details around it, kind of like, hey, kind of like a joking, kind of like it pains me to come to Kash's, he was to kind of report on Kash being possibly unfairly treated, or I forget how he characterized it, and then come to find out, like, essentially that, like, hey, it looks like maybe there could be some sort of soft FBI coup, or they're not working with Kash or something, and then come to find out that, like, well, maybe it's not actually quite that. It's actually that might have been almost some sort of other thing thrown out to a smoke screen that I guess at the time these supposed things were going on, he's complaining about. He was in Rouse. Which is like, it's like a really famous restaurant, which is like all the hobnobbers go hang out at. So yeah, he was living it up high on the hog, and that's why he couldn't be reached, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I haven't dug to the deep into the specifics on that one to see what really is the truth, but it doesn't look good, especially when you see it with a lot of many of the other claims that have been out there way before this, that he is, like, for example, his girlfriend that's pretty, like, from, I think she's like from in the IDF, I believe. She's fucking, I mean, she's super dubious. I mean, you have he was living with that one middle-aged, like, billionaire or whatever that's like kind of like, let's be real, kind of handsome looking fella. I mean, that sounds weird to say, but my point being is his loafers might be a little light. And then I forgot where I was even going with that about him. I forgot what the hell the point of that was. I was responding to one of you guys. Now I forget. You were talking about him being at Rouse. That's what it was. Yeah. But yeah, with all those other stories out there about him. Oh yeah, and then also the stories about him, like, supposedly he's out partying and clubbing and like doing all sorts of, just living it up. Apparently, like all sorts of rumors that he's like hardly ever at work, just kind of being a big old piece of shit, and then kind of playing, and then showing up for things like these. And I'm Mr. fucking badass now. Like, I'm the Mr. Law Enforcement. I'm going to Valhalla. So yeah. Let me see. Anything else worthwhile in here? Good morning, Base Kothars. We're seeing you in here. All right, let's get into the Kirk stuff. This one's particularly interesting. I ran across this shortly before we started today. Apparently, this is being floated out by Ron Oons. Well, not floated out. He's actually not really even like a guy who's really online like that. He's like an old feller. I never heard of him, but I guess here he is. I mean, here's a show. The Uns Review has 16,000 followers with not many following. So, I mean, pretty good following to follower ratio. So it's like, oh, this is probably and I guess he's been around for a while. I read one of his article on this. I mean, super fast. I mean, it was ridiculously long for no reason, but Part of the reason why I guess it was ridiculously long for no reason is this guy, Ron Unz, is like kind of an old guy. I guess he's some sort of old writer or something. So part of why it's so long is probably like damn near like 7/8 of the story is probably him just completely reviewing the entire situation down to like what role Charlie Kirk has in the internet, social media sphere and like all that. And the reason being is because he's kind of like an old fuddy-duddy who isn't really connected to the culture like that. So he's literally kind of giving almost a comprehensive, like from like how if he was writing it for himself to get from there to here. But within the course of that, he dropped some interesting information in this article. Once you get through all the the work up to it. So that's what I'm saying. I know, read it at your own risk. I mean, you're going to read like a shitload of stuff that you already know, which I mean was fine writing. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying. I know it'd be good to give to your grandpa if he was really interested in this story. Like, here you go, grandpa. Like he's like, who's Charlie Kirk? Here you go, grandpa. But yes, here's what he had to say. So this is a source to say, frankly honest, but. Once again, we're getting more stuff rolling out, and I do think it is kind of unique, and this guy is kind of just one of those guys who's not connected in from what I know. He literally is just kind of like an old guy that I guess does have a decent little following because he's known as being somewhat of a writer and like a, kind of a little bit of a intellectual of sorts. I guess I was watching one of his interviews he did about this, and I only caught like half of it. And I guess like it's, people were saying that like I guess he's someone that like Fuentes goes to for lots of takes and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the guy, but I did find it interesting that like he's not someone connected like that. So he went through all this information, parsed through it himself, and still is kind of coming to interesting places. So point being, it seems like he's less of some sort of like, I mean, he does have inside sources because that's actually the crux of the story here. He reveals a source who knew Charlie Kirk unequivocally told him, this is a quote right here. He unequivocally told me that everyone in Kirk's circle, even including important Trump administration officials, suspected that Israel had probably killed the young conservative leader, which I don't know if this I'm actually kind of like, whoa. I mean, like, obviously I don't know, once again, his sources say, but if this is truth, I'm kind of like, okay, that's kind of wild. Like even if I actually, like, this is even a step further than some of the stuff before where you're like, oh, he, from the Gray Zone articles where like they're talking about like, supposedly Trump's even scared, physically of Netanyahu. This goes even like further than that, and that like not only that, but when Charlie Kirk died, essentially it sounds like the rumors within the administration by many people were that they were thinking Israel, which like I don't know their reasons or what, but I find that interesting. I mean, I don't know. Once again, I just want to let you guys know where this is coming from, what the deal is. Interesting. I don't know what more to do with that than that. And then it is even kind of backed up more with Harrison Smith, which once again, I mean, I don't know, he is InfoWars. He is the one that seeded out the first one, but that one, because he's had that one tweet that went kind of viral that he'd actually put out about a month ago saying that, something about, he had heard something about him being scared for his life or something. And then Charlie Kirk dies a month later. So that's weird, but here he is saying that he's also heard the same, but he's saying not just from the Trump circle, from Senate Republicans as well. Don't know what to make of that. I mean, I just feel like it's worth mentioning. And then meanwhile, we have Netanyahu for like, I think the 12th time or something. Here's what he had to say.
Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi propaganda minister, said that the bigger the lie, the faster it will spread. Well, somebody has fabricated a monstrous big lie that Israel had something to do with Charlie Kirk's horrific murder. This is insane. It is false. It is outrageous. Charlie Kirk was a giant, a once-in-a-century talent who defended freedom, defended America, defended our common Judeo-Christian civilization. Charlie loved Israel. He loved the Jewish people. He told me so in a letter that he sent me just a few months ago. One of my greatest joys as a Christian, he said, is advocating for Israel and forming alliances with Jews to protect Judeo-Christian civilization. He encouraged me to make the case directly to the American people about how vital Israel is to U.S. national security. He told me, the Holy Land is so important to my life, it pains me to see support for Israel slip away. Now, if Charlie disagreed with a policy of mine or a decision here and there, not only did I not mind, I welcomed it. This is the essence of Charlie. This is the essence of a free country. It's exactly what Charlie stood for. And I knew that his suggestions always came from the heart, from his love for Israel and from his love for the Jewish people. A few weeks before his death, I spoke to Charlie. I invited him to visit Israel again. And sadly, that won't happen. Now some are peddling these disgusting rumors, perhaps out of obsession, perhaps with Qatari funding. What I do know is this: Charlie Kirk was a great man, and a great man deserves honor, not lies. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk. May your memory be a blessing.
All right, so him for the I don't know how many time going into this. All right, now let's get more into this. Here we go. Here's something about the shooter. I found this last night. Thought this was wild. Saw this on Twitter. Guess from the Daily Mail. Charlie Kirk suspects disturbing secret kink. Sickening cache of porn searches revealed. His pedophile friend and furry shades gay game. Which, it's hard not to connect the dots. It is, I mean, for those who remember from yesterday, or watched yesterday, or caught elsewhere the news of, I always want to call him Howard Zinn, but I know that's like some other guy. There was someone corrected me in the comment, but it's like a George Zim or something. Whatever. The distractor guy. We covered yesterday that he got busted for CP. They found CP on his phone, and he was literally admitting to police, according to them, that he preferred 5 to 12-year-olds. So insane. And then now we have supposedly the Kirk suspect. They were supposedly finding caches of pedophile stuff, weird furry gay stuff. There also is, I've been kind of paying attention a little bit more, or occasionally to some Candace episodes. I guess she's been talking a little bit to the boyfriend's family. And it seemed to me, I mean, she didn't outright say this, but she, from her time talking to the family, they're kind of, I guess, confused as to how their son was able to just kind of get off so scot-free. Because they're like, I guess he's had issues in the past. I mean, I think they were renting to him. So I guess were letting him live in one of their other properties or something. They've had issues in the past. I think he left the home before he was even a full adult because he was just trouble. And how do I say this without saying it? Because she said it without saying it, I think. I think this was the implication. But there was almost the implication that there were perhaps dark shit like this or something. I forget how it was worded, kind of like a family's kind of like, what? Like, I forget exactly how I said it. I mean, maybe I read too much into that than I should have. But point being, the parents heavily alluded to that they thought it was bizarre that their child got released. So, I don't know. So they're like, what the fuck themselves. I guess in a certain way, I guess you're kind of cool that your kid didn't get locked up, but you're kind of like, what's going on here? Weird, given things they know about him. But now I did hunt down this article because, of course, I didn't share it. I will say on this one, I'm a little bit concerned. When I found it last night, I didn't see any fucking sources at all. Like, this is it. This is it right here. This is from Josh Boswell of a U.S. senior news reporter. So I guess this is I think this might almost be a trust me, bro. Like, look, wait, where did it go? It was here a second ago. Wait, is this a subscribe thing? The fuck? Is this a subscribe thing? Last night it wasn't a subscribe thing. I was able to read the whole thing last night. So you see here, see if I can get it. Man charged with killing Charlie Kirk played a pornographic online game called Furry Shades of Gay and followed artists who drew explicit cartoons associated with pedophilia. Tyler Robinson, 22, was arraigned on 7 charges on Tuesday, including murder and witness tampering for allegedly shooting conservative activist Charlie Kirk at the Valley University campus last week. You scroll through, and how do we know this? That's the article. Does anyone see a problem with that? Because I do. I see a problem with this. I don't know. I'm no journalist. Maybe I'd almost need to talk to Ken. Is this from my this seems like abysmally nothing here. Like, I feel like there should be sort of something of here's how I know something. Sources say anything. I have no idea how this guy knows that this guy plays a pornographic game called. That actually, let me see. There's a link here. Although the link brings it right back to the exact. Well, let me see. This is a. This goes to his links for his. Oh, well, never mind. Here's a. Okay, this is where it's linked to. Okay, well, they should have at least been more clear with it in the body that this hyperlink. So here you go. In a Daily Mail podcast, okay, now we're getting some explanation here. Senior U.S. News reporter Josh Boswell describes his investigation of Tyler Robinson's bizarre internet activity, including his sexual interest in the furry community. Boswell was the first investigative reporter to identify Robinson's roommate, trans gamer Lance Twiggs, 22. Text messages reveal the two were in communication on September 10th, the day right-wing influencer Charlie Kirk was killed. After identifying Twiggs using social media, who has not yet been charged with any crime in connection with the shooting, the investigative reporter was able to uncover various online accounts connected to Robinson. And here's the podcast itself. I'll probably have to check this one out later because I'm actually interested in this to see where he's getting this from. Speaking to podcast host Germania Rodriguez, Boswell provided insight into Robinson's mindset and potential motives from his internet activity. So he's saying Robinson was a Reddit kid, according to him. A Reddit kid, someone who's chronically online. They have a lot of their secrets online. Is someone who's steeped in internet culture. It says it's not just anyone who uses Reddit. It's someone who's part of very small subcultures, people on particular message boards or boards in the message boards. One of the things Robinson seems to have been part of is the furry community. Furries are people who enjoy dressing up in fur suits. They have these alternative personas they call fursonas. Those personas are often an anthropomorphic character, part human, part animal. Some of the most disturbing stuff I found when looking through some of Robinson's online accounts was these furry appreciation sites. They had all this pornographic material, part human, part animals, in various stages of undress, doing sexualized things. He even had this gaming account where there was evidence he played a game that was kind of a furry homoerotic porn game. There seems to be very niche areas he was getting into online. A series of texts and Discord messages released by prosecutors show Robinson expressing left-wing views and animosity toward Kirk. Robinson's family, who turned him into authorities, told investigators he'd become more political in recent years and expressed dislike for conservative viewpoints. Obviously, keep in mind, all this stuff, okay, we'll see. Analyzing these messages alongside Robinson's alleged internet activity, Boswell speculated as the motive for the killing. Here's a photo of kind of one of these weird, these weird furry, whatever the fuck things they got here. This is his profile on a furry site. He's registered in July, I guess. He said what it seems to boil down to is that he was dating this trans person. His roommate was very angry at Charlie Kirk for espousing anti-trans views, what he called hate. Well, yeah, we know that. Okay, trying to see if there's anything about the pedo stuff. I'm not seeing anything in there. So I don't know. I'll have to check out this podcast later, see if there's more damning stuff within it. Just on its face, I don't know. I guess we have some people, some places or something. I don't know. But we're just to take his word for it, I guess. This guy was on these sites or matches up somehow. I mean, maybe he explains in the body of the podcast a little bit better. But hey, this is something seeded out there that supposedly he's involved in this stuff. And we also have this other guy that's involved in some pedo stuff. So you're like, are we getting a through line here? Perhaps. A little bit sketchy. Yeah. All right. Now, here's something I wanted to cover yesterday, so we're just now getting to it. This is from Mel. This was about, I guess, another plane. I think this is different from the one that everyone was talking about. Oh, he dropped its transponder or whatever. But watch this. She says, what an interesting plane, and then we'll get into why it's an interesting plane after you watch this. Oh, of course, the audio's out. Give me a minute. Stupid StreamYard. All right, here you go. Now it's back. Let's do it. right, now that what you guys just saw there was a video for the Bombardier Global 6500, the next-gen AISR platform for Hades, Hades, which I guess Hades is the high accuracy detection and exploitation system. Hades, a little bit of an ominous name, so yeah. Any more to this? 2 seconds left. All right. Yeah, so that's the plane. So that's some clearly some sort of radar capacity or capabilities of some sort of weird. It's also able to go, it's supposed to be really a lot faster than normal. Be able to go a lot further. I'm assuming, obviously, the implication being able to, I don't know, maybe go from one hemisphere to the other in one single flight or something like that. So yeah, and then here's Mel. We played that video for a reason. Now she says, "What if I told you this exact same plane embarked on a routine flight last Wednesday morning from El Paso, Texas to Kalispell, Montana, with a slight deviation from its usual flight pattern? And by slight, I mean it dropped from 38,000 feet to 4,800 feet and did a low swoop around Utah Lake at around 10:30 a.m. local time before climbing up to 40,000 feet. And then 3 hours later, it flew the same route in reverse and did another low and slow drop in the same spot." So, and I guess you can look at this through records. You can see here is, oh shit. Oh crap, I just didn't realize. I thought maybe, okay. Wow. Do you guys see this? Look at this. Does anyone see what you're circling my cursor around right now? Orem. Does anyone remember? Let me see if I can actually find it real quick, because that's interesting. This will make it even more spooky if I can find it real quick. Let me see if I can find the supposed the messages back and forth between each other. Let me see if I can find my bookmarks real quick to hunt it down, because that's significant, because he actually mentions Orem right there in those. So that, like, where he supposedly was, I think he said he was still in Orem at one point, I believe, in this back and forth. So let me see if I can find it, because I do want to show you. Actually, right here. Is this it? Yes. Cool. All right, let's look at this real quick. All right, see, these are the supposed ones that came out. I didn't cover these as much as I wanted to with you guys, or I had intended to with you guys yesterday, but we did cover them on Already Dead. These texts that came out or whatever that everyone's making fun of and saying they sound like a Fed wrote them with like GPT or Chat GPT or some shit, But let me see if I can find the Orem comment in there. Let me see. Literally, look right here, right at the jump, at the start. Says, after reading the note, the roommate responded. This is like where it starts. Like when you go into this is like the document we got, I think in the, a reasonable cause documents or whatever the hell they're called. So it goes, after reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right? Question mark, question mark, question mark." And then literally the first thing Robinson says, "I am still okay, my love, but am stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home. But I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Now, let's go back to this thing. And what's perfectly in the center of this little swoop this thing fucking did around this lake? This lake that is right next to Orem? Okay, I mean, maybe I'm connecting dots, but weird. I mean, then you get the timing that came in and out is a little sketchy too. So essentially, it looks like they did some sort of drop and pickup, is what it looks like. So I mean, I don't know really how that would work for a pickup. I guess I don't know enough about. It's not like I was ever like a paratrooper or some shit. I mean, obviously the initial drop off makes sense, because I'm assuming this sort of vehicle probably can go low and slow and probably do like some sort of drop point type thing. Now the pickup, I don't really know how you do pickups, so. I can't really say that makes sense, but I would assume maybe there's some sort of method to do pickups, some sort of spec ops pickup type thingy. But yeah, so there was a sweep back and forth. So it was 10:30, and then 3 hours later. I wonder what time did Kirk die? I wonder. Okay, I guess it was 9:16 a.m. Mountain Time. So. Was that 10 a.m.? Is it 10 a.m. Eastern Time, I think? So 10 a.m., I think, is what it would be for us Eastern Time people. So actually, I think that's right. Yeah. So, and then what if I told you the same company who owns this plane is a DoD contractor that runs spy planes in the Middle East and Africa? So here we go. This is, it says, have you checked the owner? This is, I guess, some back and forth with Mel and her source or whatever. Lasai Aviation is a U.S. DoD contractor. It says, I've seen them in the Middle East and Africa many times, related to CIA/special ops. And then you can look down right here, just like as kind of a proof of this. Here's the Global 6500, Lasai Aviation 2 LLC. So here's the thing. Very interesting. I don't know what to make of that. So Mel says, what the hell was going on in Utah last Wednesday? Because that was the day. I wonder what is... Well, I guess actually I was about to look up the timeline, but I totally forgot. The next tab here is Mel with her timeline for us. She has created a timeline, so let's see what she has to say. Mel's been crushing it lately. So it says August 28th. Charlie Kirk announces AM Fest. Oh, actually, never mind. I'm retarded. I thought this was something else. Let me see. I want to look up when he was dead, or when he died. What time did he die at? Kirk shot at what time is actually what I'm going to look up. Kirk shot at what time? Let's see. Kirk shot. What was the time? Why can't I find a time of the shooting? You in the chat know the time? Look it up for me real quick, someone, would you? I want to know what the time was, because that's got a 12:20 p.m. is what Mike Mortal says. So 12:20 p.m. I'll take your word for it. That checks out. Let's go back to this. Actually, I'm looking back. So they dropped off at 10:30, which I believe is Eastern time. My time zones might be a little bit off or thrown off here. And then 3 hours later, so that'd be at 1:30. Okay. All right. That's I don't know. I mean, that's there. Do that with whatever you will. Maybe more will come of that later. But that is glowy. And then kind of more to this. Here's actually, let's look at this. It says House Speaker Mike Johnson held a private meeting with AIPAC and Jewish leaders on Wednesday on Capitol Hill, wherein he reportedly pledged to screen out isolationist GOP candidates to prevent that wing of the party from growing larger in the House. Representative Tim Walberg was also part of the meeting, revealed that he'd been texting recently with ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt about the proliferation of anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about the killing of influencer Charlie Kirk, Jewish Insider reported. Though nearly all the participants remained mum on what went down, Representative David Kustoff tweeted out an image of the room, and you can make out many of the participants, including several Jewish insiders, declined to name. So you can see a photo. I mean, you can see the Jewy hats all over the place. Here's Kufis, Sandra Hagi, Parker. And I'm not even. I guess there's no point in going through all the specific ones. You can guys go check it out yourself. All the specific people at this big meeting. But I don't know. I think it might be particularly interesting when this is happening. Here's Mel saying, here's your timeline. August 28th, Charlie Kirk announces AM Fest lineup with Tucker Carlson and Steve Bannon, two extremely staunch America First commentators headlining. He also invited MTG on stage for a debate over AIPAC. He receives immense blowback from the pro-Israel shills online for weeks on end. September 10th, Charlie Kirk is murdered in broad daylight and by an autistic kid with a proclivity for trans furries, who just also happens to be capable of making a 150-yard shot to the neck with zero time for setup and scoping. He runs across the roof, drops to his belly, immediately fires one shot, and then gets up and runs. September 17th, Mike Johnson holds a meeting with AIPAC reps and Jewish leaders and promises them that he'll work to screen out Republican isolationist candidates in the upcoming 2026 midterms to keep that sentiment from growing on the right. She says, nah, something's not right here. And then I thought this was in the realm of kind of re-looking at things from a different scope and kind of with this information in mind. Here's Ryan Grimm sharing a video of Charlie Kirk when he was doing that weird... I mean, I made fun of this, I think, a bunch when we had this happen on the show because it was pretty fucking comical. But looking back now, this kind of makes sense now. It did seem at the time, you're like, what the fuck is this? What are you doing? And now it makes more sense. It was so bizarre, but given... I'll read this real quick and it'll make more sense. Ryan Grimm says, in his late July focus group with young conservatives on Israel, Charlie Kirk brought up the pressure he was under to cancel Tucker Carlson's future appearance at TPUSA's conference. Whatever, that's not going to happen, Kirk said. The reason we're doing this focus group, he added, is I've been trying to tell them there's an earthquake coming on this issue in this country, and they don't believe me. So I'm like, why don't you just hear it from the people themselves? The Hamptons retreat with Bill Ackman was about a week and a half later. Now, for those, I think we covered in the show a little bit. If you read Bill Ackman's, I don't know if it was in Bill Ackman's reply or in the article or where, at some point, I think it was from Bill. I think he claimed that they arranged this. And if you read the back and forth, it does seem like, oh yeah, Charlie probably to some degree did arrange this, but he actually seemingly was trying to. And if I remember correctly, there was something too that like he kind of perhaps was. I don't know. It's so hard to keep track of all the different people saying what. But my point being is, it seems like perhaps he was actually trying to make some sort of visual case or actual, display the case of what he's trying to say here. They're like, hey, he's essentially trying to make an appeal to his donors is the point. They're like, so I don't, maybe he's just that naive and just thinks like, oh, I can somehow turn Bill Ackman's mind. He's not some sort of fucking state operative. He's a legit guy. Oh, he's just some up and up billionaire guy who wants to give me money. I mean, I guess maybe maybe Charlie Kirk was that naive. I actually could kind of buy that. But if you look at it from that perspective, and then you look at this video and this whole thing he did where he had these college students sit down, they talked about Israel and their perspectives on it and stuff, and it was pretty comical. Looking back, and a lot of them did said some stuff like kind of accidentally in like an innocent way that you're like, oh shit, this is like past the Overton window of what should be what is typically allowed in that realm. Just kind of casually being thrown out amongst Turning Point USA members, like these are his people. And these are the perspectives they have. My point being is it looks like perhaps this was some sort of appeal to his donors, and that's what it was. It was kind of like, hey, I'm trying to tell you, I'm on your side here. Like, hey guys, you guys need to shift your message. This is not going to work. Like, blah, blah, like that kind of point. Like, essentially, he's trying to be the canary in the coal mine. I mean, a lot of people might say, make the case of like, oh, like he was going to turn. Perhaps he was. But you also could make the case, even if he wasn't turning, that perhaps this was like hey, we have to switch position in some way, shape, or form. Here's why. But I don't know, let's take a moment to rewatch this. I guess a trip down memory lane. It was funny anyway.
So like, let me ask a question. If we were to remove, like if people said what Tucker said is anti-Semitic, I don't hold that view. But it's like a lot of people on Twitter are like calling us out and like, whatever. That's not going to happen. But if we were to cancel Tucker, would anti-Semitism increase or decrease?
I think increase, because that means any supporter of Tucker Carlson's statement therefore makes them anti-Semitic.
Guilt and association,
100%. Exactly.
But the binary that's presented is that if you don't passionately talk about it, you are a hater. That's probably destructive for everybody involved. So for me, I'm trying to find this new path, which is, I love Israel. I visited there. My wife and I had the best experiences ever. I saw where Jesus rose from the dead and he walked on water. But also, I'm an American, and I represent a generation that can't afford anything, and that we are like flooded with illegals, and no one speaks English, and our hospitals are clogged. I think we need to have the prudence to reject the Jew hate. Like, okay, we're not going to put up with that. That's dumb. But also, if you call everyone an anti-Semite, if they don't take a puritanical view of the Netanyahu government, then I think it's bad for everybody.
So would you guys all basically safe to say welcome us not talking about Israel nearly as much?
Yes.
100%. Every day.
A cope that is often found in broken institutions. And I found this now over 13 years. It's a great truism. You guys can learn it for the rest of your life. Anybody that tells you we have a messaging problem, you should go a step deeper and ask another question. Being like, what, are you actually doing something wrong? Or are you bad at messaging it? Because people that are doing bad stuff will sometimes be like, well, we're just not presenting it correctly. Sometimes that's true. Or sometimes there actually might be something beneath the surface that you're not doing well. So do you guys think that it's a messaging problem, or that it's an actual material concept problem?
Yeah. It's a values and priorities problem.
Yeah, it's definitely a messaging problem. These politicians, they don't need to be car salesmen. We need the truth. We need the direct truth and nothing but the truth. But these politicians, they're not truthful. They're digging Gen Z down in the dirt.
Who represents you best outside of Trump? Well, thank you. That's very good.
I don't do that just for the sake of it either. I mean, you're here involving us for a reason, because we are the important group. We're going to inherit all of these issues. So
no, again, the reason I'm doing this is that the reason we're doing this focus group, and Andrew will attest, I've been trying to tell them that there is an earthquake coming on this issue and in the country, and they don't believe me. So I'm like, why don't you just hear it from people themselves?
Yep. And then more on the Kirk kind of conversion concept. Here is Rob Schneider. He did the Dave Smith that was dropping texts, which that's a thing. For those who aren't aware, you could go check out Dave Smith's show, one of Candace's shows. I think she dropped some text too. But essentially, she implored like any friends of Kirk's to kind of drop any sort of information they had. I mean, obviously barring any sort of something that, you know, they might find sensitive or something. I mean, not saying he was doing anything improper, but I don't know. I'm sure there's things I said that, like, if I died, I'd be like, yeah, don't release that. Like, I don't really feel like you need to release that. I don't know. Maybe Charlie was in some cool ass group chat where he went hard as fuck. I don't know. But point being is, you don't necessarily have to release everything. But a lot of people have been kind of releasing stuff to kind of get an idea of where his head was at. But I thought that's particularly interesting. One of you guys shared this to me. Marjan, thank you, appreciate it. You're one of the best dumpers out there. And this is Rob Schneider saying it breaks his heart. So I'm so glad I was able to tell Charlie how much I appreciate him. This is some old tweet. He said, "Let's do another college together. You don't need me, but I can't tell you how many people thank me for being with you." And Charlie goes, "Amazing. Yes, we need to." And then, what am I brain fart? Rob says, "You are a legitimate hero to so many young people, an inspiration for them to love our nation. Let's talk soon. God bless you, my future Catholic brother." That's from Rob Schneider, which there have been rumors that from Candace saying he was kind of going to, I think it may have been Candace, something maybe on other people too, but there's pictures too that come out too that showing him at Catholic masses. I guess his wife was originally Catholic. So it looks like he's getting ready to make a conversion, which is, for the sake of Judaism, Catholics tend to go way fucking harder on the J question, so that they do not fuck around. They're like, no, you don't get to use my religion to justify murder. Sorry, which I can respect. I can respect that a lot. And that seemed to be the route he was going down. So now, does that necessarily mean he would also turn heel? But I mean, one kind of implies the other. So it ends with, "You are the greatest. Please give me a quick call. Thanks, champion." And then I know there's some sort of picture below it as well that he cut off. So maybe some sort of goofy selfie or something. But yeah, so there's more to the conversion, that perhaps there is something to he was going to change religion. Maybe he genuinely was having a spiritual thing, because I'm not religious, but I don't know. I mean, when I was Christian, I don't know how I could possibly like hold these beliefs and not be torn up inside, like some of the pro-Israel type beliefs. Given everything going on, and even as what I am now, I still would hold up. My point being is, like, clearly his beliefs run in contradiction to this stuff, despite the fact they do try to, to co-opt the Christian movement. So it seems like maybe Charlie was waking up to that. Like I did say, I was making fun of him being a naive guy. I mean, I don't know what degree he is naive or not. So I don't know. It's hard to say where he was at with these things. And we'll never be able to ask him, unfortunately. But we'll probably get a clearer picture as more things come out. What else we got? All right, we got a couple last little things to cover before we get out of here. Trump, I guess, just labeled Antifa a major terrorist organization. I don't know what I think about that, I guess. I don't know. I mean, it just feels, I don't even feel like Antifa's even been relevant for like a while. So it just almost feels like it's like, this literally feels like, what is it, Mean Girls? We're like, stop trying to make Antifa happen. Like, that's what it feels. I don't know. I mean, once again, we also don't know so this does feel connected to the Kirk thing, because it's like, it seems like this lazy enemy of the past that you're just like, oh, that was my major enemy once, so I'm going to blame them. It's like they're still stuck in 2016 or something. But like, okay, I mean, I don't know how I feel about this. I mean, maybe I'm not even really tapped into whatever Antifa is now. I don't know what they are now. I don't have a strong. I know back in 2016, yeah, they had a strong presence at colleges and were actually doing violence and. Not great. So, I mean, I would have been back then. I'm like, okay, makes sense. Now I'm just kind of like, this is just weird. I don't know what to make of it. I guess I'm kind of curious what you guys think. More on the Israel front. That's what the show is, the Israel show. Here's Sean McCarthy. It's funny enough, he changed his name to FBI guy, uses ChatGPT to fake Patsy confessions. He says, you wouldn't know from the headlines, but very interesting that after purchase by Unilever, the Ben & Jerry's co-founders, the ice cream, were allowed to engage in every single type of left-wing activism imaginable except boycotts of Israeli-occupied territories. That's where the line was drawn. For those who aren't aware of what I'm looking at here is Ben & Jerry's co-founder, Jerry. So now it's just Ben. I mean, I don't know. Do they even get to keep Ben and Jerry? I feel like they have to make it Ben now. But Ben and Jerry's co-founder Jerry Greenville resigns, claiming parent company Unilever silence its campaigning. He's wrote an open letter late Tuesday night that he could no longer, in good consciousness, remain an employee of the company. So yeah, he says he can no longer work for a company that he claims lost independence guaranteed in 2000 buyout. So here's another person standing on principle saying, fuck this. All right, let's roll the chat, see what you guys got to say, and then I think we're going to get out of here. I think that's it. Let's check in. Let's say our goodbyes, and then get on out of here. Gerald is noticing bulges in the chat. Are we calling each other gay in the chat? Is that what we're doing? Rise Elk says, R.I.P. Charlie, the truth comes out in time. Yeah, we'll see. We'll find out more as time comes on. So I noticed Jose's bulging lats. Oh, they're fucking huge. Mortal says, Kirk saw the wave of American isolationist nationalism coming this way. Sure did. We got a tower in the chat. Gerald fucked it up. He started it and fucked it up. Good job, Gerald. Good morning, Base Kothar. I think it's the first time I saw you in here. He said Israel apparently offered his Turning Point thing $150 million. He turned it down. Yes, sir. Let me see what else we got. Oh man, just going nuts with Tower. Keep it up. Hey, whatever. I think it's an algo boost. So Tower away, my friends. Good morning, Bug Fights. Yeah, Knife Safety Plus says Kirk wasn't going to pivot. He was running damage control for the Jays. And that's another take I've heard too, which I'm amenable to that. Because, I mean, you do see, like, a lot of people bring up a lot of these, like, say his recent interview with Ben Shapiro, and then it's kind of like, okay, but was that really him butting heads with Shapiro, or was that him being the relief valve, being the, oh, this has to be addressed, and now I get to be the guy, the smiling, goofy fucking face that goes, what do you think of that, Shapiro? And then he gives you your take. And the what, you know, that, like, while you may be like, he may not agree with it, but he's not probably going to give any sort of pushback or just kind of hear. I mean, which, to be fair, whatever, it's an interview. But my point being, it's not like, I mean, just showing that he asked the question doesn't necessarily mean he's on your team. Catholics go hard on the JQ, says no habla. When you've had Christ equals truth pound your head your whole life, you lose your tolerance for bullshit. It's a natural growth. I know we have evil people too. Yeah, and then someone's bringing up the Knights of Malta. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. There's also like that too, where it's a little bit like, am I losing my mind? I'm schizo. Once you get aware of all the Catholic secret organizations and stuff, it doesn't become quite as simple as like the conspiracy, oh, the Jays run it all type thing. You're like, I think there's, for one, I don't even think it's as simple as saying the Jays to begin with. But if you do want to make it the Jays, well, you have the Jays, you have the Catholics, you have the this, you have that. And even within one of those vague groups, you have your subsets, which once again, I don't even think it's fair to really be like, that's Jays. There's so many different types. And even then, it's not even really fair to call it Catholics to what I'm referring to, because I'm referring to those like Opus Dei type organizations that are, you know, always seem to be on the periphery of insanely fucking crazy evil shit. You're like, what is going on in the top tiers of this thing? I don't know. So yeah, there might be something else going on that too, but at least on the ground level, Catholics rock. So I'll say that. I don't know what it means with Charlie doing all this. I don't necessarily think he was about to be some member of Opus Dei running cover for Jutro Fair-esque type of things. But who knows? Who knows? Says Mortal says, I don't think Kirk was going to be pro-Palestine or anything, but perhaps become more isolationist financially as far as American aid to certain countries. Yeah, he would totally go the hardcore, I don't care what Israel's doing, but not on my dime, which, okay. I mean, like, hey, whatever, I'll take it. So, would you rather, why would Unilever buy a mom and pop ice cream? All right, let's keep going. I'll at least enable super chat. I've told you I can't enable super chats. I've told you this many times, Nevsky. I'm demonetized on YouTube. You guys can do super chats on Rumble. That is an option, just so you guys know. I just don't think anyone really does it. I always tell you guys, go over to Rumble. Go support me on Rumble. Drop super chats over there. You can also follow me on Patreon. But I do need to set the QR code. One of these times I will. Whenever I ever have the time to do so, I'll figure it out. I know somebody asked about Venmo before. I do have Venmo. The funny thing is my wife is like the one that because she's usually the one who handles like clients and stuff or other stuff. So like, I don't even know what my Venmo or any of these things are. So I literally have to be like, hey honey, what's our Venmo? Because like, I just pay cash most things or card or like, I don't do that. I'm technologically retarded. So like when people are like, oh, just Venmo me, I'm like, what? I have $20 in my hand. Take my $20. You're like, oh, just Venmo me. Take the fucking $20. Like that's the kind of old fuddy-duddy I am. But anyways, at some point I will overcome my my inner old man, and I will figure out the QR code and put my Venmo and other stuff in ways display so people can do it. I do need to. I am noticing a groundswell of new people. So it's like you guys are begging to give me money. So I guess I should find a way for you to give me money. That'd probably be a good idea. I'm just losing money for no fucking reason. So yeah. But so far as YouTube, my hands are bound there. I can't. You can't super chat me. It is what it is. Go complain to Wazitsky or whatever. Or isn't she dead though or some shit? Anyways, what else we got? Gerald says my grandma hated Jews. That's fun. Seeing the effect of the neck presses, Jose. Good job. Thank you. I'm not doing any neck presses. Wait, what? What is a neck? What is even a neck press? What does it even mean? Are you telling me I look like I'm blowing dudes? What does that mean, Wise Elk? I think that was a weird insult or something. Nevsky saying, some of the Catholic popes or Roman Catholic popes have been subverted by Jews. Just read Vatican II. Okay, maybe. Maybe. I don't know if I ever said good morning to you, Sha Yuan. What's up? Bobo said the handsome Jacob said he would set you up one. Just ask him to set one up for you. Nevsky said, put an appeal to YouTube. Several banned people have enabled super chats again. Yeah, I think I might be able to. I think they made me do some sort of stupid, when you get in trouble in some state, you got to go to a driving school. I think there's some sort of gay little something I got to do or something. And they're like, okay, well, now you've done your proper little communist struggle session where you admitted your guilt. So we'll let you have it back now. Maybe one of those days I'll do that. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Well, I guess let's get out of here. I think we're right about 2 hours. I just got to the end of the chat. I think we're good. I'll have to figure out. Like I said, tomorrow's up in the air. And maybe if I do, maybe it'll be a different time or something, earlier or later or something like that. Probably earlier, if anything. And then Monday I won't be here. But I'll be back on Tuesday. So after that. So. Yeah. For those, especially for the non-poors, and I guess for the poors too, I just booked Nick Bryant for next week, so that'll be a fun one. Looking forward to that talk. So obviously the patrons, it'll be live, so you can watch it live, and you can even ask questions and everything you'd like. You can interact, but not the poors. The poors will have to wait an additional week or two till it comes out. So just letting you guys know. And for those who want to support the show without giving money, what you can then do is leave a like, share, subscribe, comment, leave a 5-star review on iTunes or Spotify. You also follow me on Twitter at TowerGangJose. You can find me on YouTube, all the major oddbot catchers, Rumble as well. And if you want to support the show in the best way you really can, you can do that with money over at patreon.com/NoWayJose2020. The lowest level is $2. That gives you access to early episodes, just like that Nick Bryant episode I told you is about to come out and that's going to be coming out soon or going to be recorded here soon. But yeah, that's behind the paywall. I get paywall episodes. We usually do 1 to 2 a week or so. I keep about 4 behind the paywall in a given time. So it's weeks of paywall content. You also get access to the ad-free RSS feed. You also get access to the Telegram and access to the pre-show, post-show, and the video calls on me and Austin's weekly live call-in show, Already Dead. And at the highest level is my sponsors. I give them a big shout-out. Every episode is a big thank you for everything they do. My previous co-host and Tower Gang at Learner Toad, also at AdBrigadeDs, at ZOVRCK, at _InfantZeal, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebold, Will Bell, Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine, big fan of the show, Torn May, at Wayne Taculus, The Catcher in the Rye, and I have a new one, Mark Vestibule, which I feel weird announcing your name, but I know you've been because it's you usually ask how they want to be announced. I haven't had a chance to yet. But Mark's an old follower, even back to the Tower Gang days. So we would announce your name super chat then. So I know you're cool. I don't think you give a shit that I basically just gave out your full government name on the internet. Well, enjoy being hunted down by my haters. Have fun with that, Mark Vestibule, for contributing to my hate. But yeah, I appreciate all of you guys. Love you, Mark. It's cool to see you join the fold. But yeah, cool seeing somebody from my old TG days jumping along with us. So. But yeah, for those who that's the ways to support me. Do I think there's anything else? Yeah, I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow. But otherwise, I did want to expose the young folks to the YouTube that I grew up with. So that's what we're gonna outro with today. A fun one, just the old school YouTube stuff. You guys will dig this. Knife Stacy Plus says, if Jose stops reading my schizophrenic thoughts in the chat for free, I am out. Okay. But yeah, enjoy this outro. This is old school YouTube vibes. I think a lot of people will jump and be hyped about this for sure. So I'm trying to see. You see all the bye-byes. Bye, everyone. Bye, Shy. Bye, Mike. Bye, Gerald. Bye, everyone. Oh, Wiseluck says my neck is growing. Oh, fuck yeah, thanks. No, I'm not doing any neck exercises. But sign up for that Patreon, says Base Kothar. Seeing everyone say bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Bye, bye, bye. Enjoy this one. All right. This is a banger.